I would like to welcome Cynthia Corby, Partner, COO and Transformation Strategy Leader, Audit and Assurance, Deloitte Middle East. A fellow ACCA member, Cynthia serves as the CEO of Audit and Assurance at Deloitte, leading the practice comprising of circa 1,700 people, driving growth and operational excellence, and collaborating across functions to serve the needs of complex clientele. Cynthia is also the Middle East construction industry leader for the firm with over 30 years of experience in the profession. She regularly chairs industry conferences and produces articles on key industry issues and is the author and founder of the GCC Powers of Construction publication, which is released annually by the Middle East firm. Alongside her remarkable career, Cynthia finds time to chair the Women in Finance Forum and has been recently recognized again by Forbes as one of the most influential women in the Middle East. Please join me in welcoming Cynthia Corby.
Good morning, everybody. I'm going to start by saying a huge congratulations to Jasla. We have had a long journey together. I remember interviewing her and convincing her to join Deloitte, and I'm so pleased she did. So very, very proud of Jasla and the fact that she is now one of our partners in the Middle East. Congratulations again. When we were discussing the topic for today and the theme of what would I tell my younger self, I was sitting thinking about maybe I should think about the things I wouldn't change in my journey first. And some of those, I guess, start with doing what you love and having a real passion for what you do. It was pretty unique, I think, when I speak to my kids today and ask them what they want to be, they still don't know. But at a very early age, I knew I wanted to be an accountant. I just, for some reason, had a passion of it for accounting. I shouldn't really say for some reason. My mom had her own business, and at a young age, I helped her in her business. I think I was 15 when she took me along to a small funder to go and get some financing for her very small business, and I put together a very basic business plan, but presented it and managed to secure some funding for her. And she was really an inspiration to all of us and all four of her daughters. A key message, and Helen echoed this, was she told us to make sure you are always financially independent. And that was a key message that we all took away, the four sisters. So she was really my inspiration in terms of becoming an accountant and seeing what that meant and what a difference you could make, not only to a small business, but then hopefully other businesses in due course. So today, as Fazila mentioned, I also lead construction for the Middle East. I used to be with Deloitte South Africa and then went to the UK and then came to the UAE in 2006. And by no means was I a construction expert when I landed here. But obviously, being in the heart of construction that was happening around the world, it was such an exciting place to be and to see iconic buildings emerging all around us. So we had a lot of clients, international clients, who set up here for construction. And just seeing what was possible and what was being achieved and the vision of the rulers and putting Dubai on the map, I really got involved in construction significantly. And when I say that, I wasn't only auditing our clients, but attending site visits, walking, on different sites, asking questions, learning about the projects. And people would say, "Aren't you an accountant?" And I'm like, "Yes, but I can't understand the books and the records and audit it if I don't understand your business." And I think that's another key message, is always tackle things with passion and make sure you really do get involved. Have fun, I think, is another key one. Make sure you are surrounded by people that you're happy to work with and that have similar values to you as well. Have clear goals, and I think Helen said this as well. Don't wait for your career to happen to you. Make your career happen for you. Now, that wasn't always easy along the journey, and that will be some of the messages to my younger self, which I'll share in a moment. But make sure you do have some sort of clear vision, even though that may change along the way. I've mentored quite a few people, including Jasla, and they always say, well, I'm not sure I want to commit to that goal because I'm not sure where I'll be in 5 years, but it doesn't matter. Have a goal, and things will change. And as Helen said, something that was really key for me was when a door opened, I definitely took that opportunity. It may have been a harder one, it may have been a more challenging one, but as I always say to my teams as well, those are the ones that you learn the most from, and that you really build good team spirit on. It's those difficult jobs that really bring people together because you're all problem solving and you learn different skills, not only the technical skills. So really step up to those opportunities when they do present themselves. Have good support at home is something I would really say. My husband has been amazing in supporting my career, and that has helped me balance being a mom as well. So we make sure that we can balance things and that we can both be there for the children, and that to me was a not negotiable in terms of my career. Also have friends who support you, whether that's within your role, within the company, or outside. I think you really need this to be able to achieve that balance in your life. And as Jasla said, make time for your family. Don't think you have to sacrifice all of that because ultimately you're not going to be happy then. So make time for family and friends. That's really important. Another one was setting boundaries, personal boundaries. So to achieve that work-life balance, I think people who know me and have worked with me will know at 6:15 I'm out the office when we were in the office full-time, so that I can get home, do dinner, help with homework or attend extracurricular activities with the kids. But 9 o'clock I'm back online and, we'll carry on working then. But those personal boundaries are really important. And even if your children have recitals or special assemblies or things you need to be at, block it in your calendar and make sure you're there. Because that will make you a happier person as well. So those personal boundaries, I would say, are really important. And always acknowledge your teams. Nothing is ever possible on your own, as much as we'd all like to think so. Hard work, yes, you can do that. Commitment, yes, you can do that. But at the end of the day, to be successful and deliver on some broader roles, you have to delegate and you have to rely on your teams. And make sure you acknowledge them for their contribution. And that, really genuinely acknowledge them, not just do it as a tick in the box. And for me, that has been really critical to success because that inspires loyalty, obviously encourages progression within the team. And if I think of some of the teams I work with today, that I can really attribute some of the successes I've had to being able to work with those people. Also, stand up for what you believe in. Sometimes it's really hard when you can be the lone voice saying something different to anybody else, but at the end of the day, people will respect you for that. So I would say definitely do that. Don't stand up for every single thing. Choose your battles as well. You don't want to be a big noise in the corner all the time, but definitely stand up for what you believe in. And leading transformation for the last 5 years for our region has been pretty challenging. And trying to get people to change is always a challenge. And I think what I've learned over the last 5 years is you can't satisfy everybody. So taking 80 or 90% of the people with you is okay, and that noise or the naysayers in the corner will eventually become the outliers. So don't stop for those. Try and convince them, try and bring them on the journey, but if you can't, then you've done your best and keep moving forward, and eventually they'll have to join the journey. So those were some of the things, when I reflected, I would say I would still do those. What would then I tell my younger self to do that maybe I wasn't brave enough or bold enough to do? Be bolder in asking for what you deserve. I can remember studying with a cohort, we all joined Deloitte at the same time, and getting our promotions or pay increases. Some of my male colleagues would say, oh, I wasn't happy with that. And I went and I saw the partner and I told him, and I was like, oh my goodness, when I got mine, I was so grateful. I thought, oh, I've been acknowledged for my hard work and my dedication. I was like, why didn't I think of that? Why didn't I go and ask for something else? So that's probably a lesson I would take away, is definitely be bolder. And I would say, yes, be grateful for recognition and reward, but also reflect on, is that what I'm worth? Is that a fair reward or recognition for what I did? So don't undersell yourself. The third one would be to be heard. And when I've spoken to various people over the years, it's quite funny. You can sit in a boardroom and make a point and not be heard, and that sounds really weird. And then the conversation will carry on, and somebody else will make exactly the same point you just made, and people will say, oh, that's a really good idea. And you think, I'm sure I just said exactly the same thing about 2 or 3 minutes ago. So I've learned a little bit now to say, oh, yes, that's what I said, you know, and then I'll carry on building on my point, because I just want to make a point to be heard. And I think that's really important. Also, I think be in tune with how the corporate world works. I was probably a little bit naive when I was younger to think everything works perfectly and you get acknowledged for all the good work you do and your hard work and your commitment. And I wish somebody would have told me that you've got to manage so many different stakeholders who are watching what everybody's doing. And that I learned a little bit the hard way by being a bit naive. So I think that is something key to learn very early on, is there's several stakeholders that you need to manage or make sure are included. Build allyships, mentorship, really important, but as you progress through your career, allyship is really key as well. And that I mean consciously and naturally through the roles that you do, the people you work with become strong allies and they support you in your career or put you forward for certain things or certain opportunities. And finally, I would just say, and I think Helen alluded to it as well, is networking is really important. But something I read in a report that Deloitte issued many years ago where they interviewed some key CFOs was don't try and feel that you need to join the boys club or go for drinks after work or start talking about golf or soccer or whatever it is. Network in your own way. That's why we're unique, and that's what diversity brings to the table. And a very senior partner I worked with recently said to me, I know it's difficult for you to make dinners because you go home to the kids and so my boundaries that everybody's aware of, but network in your way. And so if breakfast meetings are better for you when you've dropped the kids at school, create those opportunities to network then. And I think that's a very valuable lesson. And that's the art of the differences that we all bring. And teach our male colleagues to network in a different way and include us that way. So those are a few of my thoughts of my career journey. Hopefully you found that useful. Thank you.